2 separate listings, 1 property.
How does Airbnb even allow that? This may not make a lot of sense right now, but as you watch the video, you're gonna really care about how we execute this with locks. We'll tell you what locks we use at the end. Hi, I'm Sarah Karakayan.
And I'm Annette Grant. And together we are
Thanks for visiting.
We've been hosting for well over a decade, welcomed tens of thousands of guests, and earned thousands of 5-star reviews.
Our portfolio continues to bring in over $1.5 million year over year, and supported not only by the industry's leading brands, but also some of the biggest media outlets.
And we're here to help you with your furnished rental. You will commonly hear this type of listing with 2 listings with 1 property actually be called a parent-child listing. So the parent is the total property, and the child is the property within the property, or the smaller amount of bedrooms inside the parent property. So you have parent-child listing.
Why would you need to use this strategy? Oh, when I tell you, you're gonna get so excited because it just helps you diversify your property. I wanna preface this with saying that this works for a large property with lots of beds and baths. It also works for multifamily property. So if you have a 4-plex or a duplex or a triplex, like, you can get creative. I just want you to, as we explain what this is and the different strategies and how this might help you, I want you to get creative with the properties that you already own or maybe dream of owning and how this can help you diversify those. All right, let's start with the most common, which is a large property, a lot of beds, a lot of baths, usually a higher cleaning fee. Maybe you rock out selling this large property on the weekends. It is no problem for you to sell it Friday to Sunday. You crank it out and you are booked, far in advance. You've got more expensive pricing far in advance, so people can secure their weekends. As it gets closer, people gobble it up.
Give them an exact example, though, of the one property that absolutely crushes this parent-child. Give them like the bedrooms, bathroom count, break it down.
But I don't want you to lock it into like the specifics, but yeah, so we had a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom house, okay? And I knew going into, I was co-hosting this property, and I knew going into it that in our market here in Columbus, Ohio, it would be hard to sell this large home with that large cleaning fee and the value of what you're bringing for that home during the week, so Sunday night through Thursday. And I didn't want to attract unwelcomed uses of the home, okay? So parties and things of that nature. So I wanted to keep it appropriately priced to attract ideal guests who are gonna respect the home. It's a beautiful home. So I thought this could be really cool. There were, on the 3rd floor, 2 just bedrooms. 2nd floor were 2 bedrooms. One was a primary with an ensuite, and one was a common bedroom with an off-suite bathroom. And the 1st floor was the kitchen, the living room, a half bath, a dining room, right? And so what I did was I put locks on those 3rd floor bedrooms, and I'll show you what the locks are at the end of the video. I told you, see, I'm teasing you. Put locks in those beds so that I could sell it also as a 2-bed, 2.5 bathroom home. Now this doesn't have to be set up like that. Let's say that 3rd floor had an ensuite and a single bedroom. Let's say it had 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Like, you can let your imagination run wild here, but what I did was I sold the property in 2 ways. I sold it as a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath home, and I also sold it as a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath home. Why? Because now when guests, let's say business travelers during the week, or someone who's wanting to like a nicer place to stay, but they don't want to spend, $400 in the cleaning fee, cool. I've got this 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath version of this home that I can sell to you. And so that's why this is helpful. And here's the thing, you can also have fun with the pricing. So let's say you have the parent-child listing set up, and further out on my calendar, I'm only gonna allow it to be rented during the week and on weekends as the full house, because I wanna capitalize on as much money this home can bring in. But if I know my booking window is 30 days, okay, 2 months out, I'm still not booked during the week. Now my pricing software, now PriceLabs, is automatically going to know, because we've reached that time frame, that now we're gonna offer this home as the 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath version of that property, and the calendars are synced so that you can't be double booked on the same property. They talk to each other, and so if it gets booked as the 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath, it is no longer available as the 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, and vice versa.
And you're also, as this parent-child listing, you're showing up twice. So you're showing up double the amount that you would if you just had the one listing. So that way, if someone is specifically putting in, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, you're gonna show up. If someone's putting in the 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, you're gonna show up. If they're narrowing down their guest count, how many people they want to stay. So it really is just helping you, cast a wider net to all the potential guests that could be staying at your property.
All right, so how do you set this up on Airbnb specifically? You are creating 2 different listings, like actual listing. Here's the cool thing with Airbnb, you can duplicate an existing listing that you already have and then go back and change it so that it makes sense, because this is why it's ethical to do this too, because you are offering 2 different products, right? You're offering 2 different versions of this home. So that's why this is okay to do. You're not taking the exact same listing and then taking up real estate on the platform and offering the exact same listing so that, like Annette said, you show up when people are searching.
And also beware, don't try to just list your same property 2 different ways with like a different, different photos or a different title. You don't want to do that. This is actually 2 separate products. I don't want you to think you can just relist. Do you know what I'm saying? No. Well, you're thinking different than people that would like.
Okay, so in Airbnb, the cool thing is you don't have to build the second listing from scratch. You can duplicate your existing listing, but here's the important thing, and hear me loud and clear. You have to offer something different with that new listing, okay? This can be different bed and bath count. It can also be one property offers a 30-day only stay, one offers short stays in case you want to do the whole midterm, short-term rental. As long as you're offering something different, you cannot duplicate the listing, scramble the photos, change the title, and say, great, I want to pop up more often on Airbnb because you're offering the same thing. You cannot do that. That's unethical. Don't do it. You're going to get in trouble. If you offer something different, this is okay. So once you duplicate the listing, when you go to the calendar settings on your Airbnb listing, it doesn't matter which one you pick first, but just know the difference between the 2, which one's in my example, the 4-bedroom versus the 2-bedroom. And you are going to copy what Airbnb gives you as their calendar link. And it will tell you what calendar do you want to hook up this listing to so that they're talking to each other, okay? So Airbnb allows you to do that so that the calendars are talking to each other. So if you're only using Airbnb and you're not using a property management software, which we'll get to in a minute here, Airbnb allows you to do this via the calendar setting of your listing. All right, but Sarah, how do you do this if you have a property management software? My first tip to you, my friends, is to go to the customer service representative that you work with for your specific property management software. And here's the cool thing, this is not some novel strategy. This is not, I'm not trying to sell this like this was my idea.
They're not gonna be confused when you reach out and ask for help.
They will know exactly what you need to do. You don't need to reference this video and be like, this girl's doing this secret thing, this hack. It is not a secret hack, okay? I just wanna make sure that you understand how to use it and how to leverage it. So talk to your customer service rep first. For our property management software, and we use Hostfully.
We'll make sure to link it below.
Yep. What I have to do is actually with Hostfully, it's easier if it already exists on Airbnb. And so now my initial property, my 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath property already exists on Airbnb. And through my property management software, I connect to Airbnb. Okay, so now they're talking to each other. And on Hostfully, now is where I can connect it to, now that it's on there, I can now connect it to Vrbo and Booking.com. It's just easier if it starts on an OTA. You can do it the other way. I could start it on Hostfully and then connect it, but just letting you know that's the way it works. Once that is there, then there's a little plus button where you can add another listing. So once I create that duplicate listing on Airbnb, but I offer something different, I offer 2 beds, 2.5 baths instead, I connect those calendars, and that's how our software is now having that same conversation with both calendars. So it depends on your property management software, but reach out to customer support. They will know exactly what you are trying to do, and they will help you.
TFE pro tip. Be mindful of your profits. We do not want you just slashing in half your pricing because maybe it goes from a 4-bedroom to a 2-bedroom. That is not what we are saying here. We really want you to do your market research because honestly, you can still charge for the product what that market rate is demanding. So I don't want you to think this is easy math. Half the rooms, half the price. Do not do that. You will be leaving a lot of money on the table.
But how the heck do you actually set this up inside the home? There are a lot of questions here, and we're going to tackle all of them.
Right, won't everybody just sleep in all the beds anyways?
No, because we do encourage you to lock off the bedrooms that the guests aren't paying for, okay? This does not have to be unattractive. The lock that I've used in the past is not a smart lock. It's actually a mechanical lock that has the Schlage version that has a key backup, okay? Because let's say a guest is they did pay for the room and they accidentally shut the door. I also take off the automatic lock component, but I'm always thinking about like, okay, what if a kid runs in there and they're paying for the room and the kid runs in there, they close the door and it locks, they can't get back in. So I like having backup keys where I could tell the guests who are paying for it where to find the key to unlock it or what have you if they don't have the code readily available. So I'm always thinking about that, but I don't use a smart lock because those are more expensive. You want to keep this inexpensive. There's a lot of different lock options you can do. They have also the doorknobs that have a lock component in them. If you don't want to bore another hole in your door, I totally get that. So there's lots of cool things that you can do. There's the knob that includes the knob and the keypad on it. So again, you don't have to bore another hole in the door. But then your question to me is going to be, well, aren't guests going to think that's unattractive, or won't they ask questions why this door is locked off? This is where it goes back to being really transparent in the listing of, in my example, the 2-bedroom option. So we will put it in the listing and you will still get questions, and that's okay. In the listing that, hey, this home is also offered as a full 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath here on Airbnb. If you're interested in a larger listing, just reach out to us and we'll be happy to help you with that. When you're in the home, you will see 2 locks on 2 additional bedroom doors. If you change your mind and want to upgrade to be able to use these bedrooms, again, just let us know, because then all you have to do is give them the codes to those doors and then communicate with your cleaner when they go to clean it that it's going to be the 4-bedroom option and not the 2-bedroom option. Through Airbnb's resolution center, you see the difference of the cleaning fee, because again, the cleaning fee for the 2-bedroom is going to be less than the cleaning fee for the 4-bedroom, and you send them that, and maybe there's also additional fee for having access to those 2 bedrooms, but you should know your market rate for that moment, how much you should sell it as a 2-bedroom option and how much you should sell it as a 4-bedroom option, and you're gonna charge the guest the difference for that, okay? So if a guest ever reaches out to you and they booked it as a 2-bedroom, they ask you about the locked off rooms, and you're like, hey, if you would like to use those bedrooms, it's a slightly higher fee that includes the cleaning fee and the use of those rooms. We are happy to give you access. And that is how you say, yes is the answer, what is the question to that guest.
Now, operationally, is this going to be a little bit more coordination for you and your team, making sure everyone's on the same page? But most importantly, on the operations, is you have got to always make sure that whatever rooms are still not booked on that reservation, if it's the child reservation, they still need to be guest ready.
Always.
Like, no questions, must be done, ready. Your cleaners can't be like, oh, they're not booked on that, I'll just lock the door and close it. No, because exactly what Sarah mentioned, sometimes guests they're like, oh, this house, like, we have more people, everyone wants to have their own bed. They actually want to upsell and then have those rooms available, and you want to be able to answer so quickly, here's the code, take your suitcase in there and unpack. And also just operationally, having your team, how you do anything is how you do everything. And if you start allowing your team to, oh, no worries, just close those doors, do it on the next turnover, it's just gonna create some bad habits there. You don't even want to start those. Your wheels are spinning now. We know you have a lot of questions, so we're gonna answer them.
This seems complicated. Is it actually worth all the stuff? That's a question that you have to answer for yourself, and here's how you'll do it. You're going to go to Price Labs and you're going to figure out occupancy rates and average daily rates. We're going back to my example of the 4-bedroom over a month, right? And is that occupancy higher, or when you take out the weekdays, what does that occupancy look like? And when you include the weekdays, what is that occupancy like? Meaning, does occupancy drop for larger homes in your area during the week, or whatever that is for your market, right? Maybe you have to have 7-day stays, or whatever that means for you, like, you get what I'm saying here. Now go to the 2-bedroom option, or whatever your child listing is, and see what those occupancy rates are and those ADRs. Okay, if you add the ADR and the occupancy rates of the 2-bedroom option for that month, plus the ADR and average occupancy rates for the 4-bedroom option for that month, and you add them, are you better off doing the parent-child listing version versus just having it as a 4-bedroom and doing market occupancy rates for that month at the ADR that is most likely going to get you booked? Once you understand that, because here's the thing, you can also turn off, let's say, for example, in Columbus, Ohio, we crush it in the fall. There's so much going on here, weekday and weekend, with college football or other fairs and expos that are going on, that we turn off our two-bedroom child listing from September to November because we know we can crush it as the entire 4-bedroom property. But then we turn it back on, we get into our slow season of December through March, April. Okay, so I've done my homework. I know that if I offer it as both option, I am going to win. And it's going to absolutely be worth investing in those 2 locks, taking the time to create that extra listing, which, by the way, once you connect the listing and create the listing, that work is done. Once you buy the locks, that's a one-time investment. Over the long term of making up revenue that could be lost during the slower periods of a month or a week, that I can make up by being a more affordable, more accessible option to more people during those times.
And don't count yourself out at all on this, because Sarah and I, we stayed at a beach home, like giant beach home in North Carolina in the middle of December. Yes, I said the middle of December. And it was just Sarah and myself. This home would normally sleep probably 14 people. There were 2 floors of a 4-floor house that we didn't even need to touch. So they sold that as a 2-bedroom to Sarah and myself in December, where it would have been crickets, and we were there for a long stay. So I just want to let you know that even a giant beach home, like, they were bringing in that revenue in December, and there probably weren't a lot of people looking because Sarah and I were walking on the beach pretty much solo, but they got our booking because they had that parent-child listing available. Won't this decrease my bookings at my larger parent listing? This is where you have to make sure that you're on top of it. Are you gonna offer them both at the same time? This is where you can get into your calendar and really start to control when the child listing is available versus the parent listing. So you're absolutely correct. You don't want to have your child listing cannibalize the parent calendar. So this is where you have to get strategic. This is not set it and forget it. You want to know your booking window. You want to know those downtimes, and you have to get strategic.
How do I know if my property is a good fit for this strategy? This is a great question to ask, because I will say this, like most things, when it comes to strategies, like, they don't always work, okay? So with the listing that I talked about, it was very clear to me that a guest doesn't even need to go up to the 3rd floor and they still have a great experience. Like, will your guests still have a good experience without access to those spaces that you're going to lock off? And then also, I don't want you going crazy. Like, if you've got a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home, are you gonna make that much more money locking off the 1-bedroom? Like, probably not. I mean, do the math and figure it out. But when you have a big difference between a 4-bed to a 2-bed, or maybe even a 4-bed to a 1-bed, depending on how vicious your market gets with those bedroom counts, right, and those bathroom counts, it could make a big difference for you. And that's another point there I want to make too, is bathroom counts. Bathroom to bedroom ratio is a huge factor in how much money you can make on Airbnb in the short-term rental industry altogether. So if you go from like a 4-bedroom, 4-bath home to a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home, you actually might be cannibalizing yourself. If you can offer the 2 bedrooms at 2 bathrooms, that might be worth it for you. So there is some homework up front to really understand if your property is a good fit. And let's talk about the multifamily. Here's how you can use it for multifamily. If you've got a 4-plex, and it's high season for you, instead of it's like the opposite, it's the inverse of this. It's a high season for you, and there's a lot of groups coming to your area, or you really want to maximize, sellouts on the weekend, you can offer it as a 4-bedroom, 4-bath building, right? And really capitalize on that and have it, because everyone gets their own bed, their own bath, their own kitchens, like, right? It's a 4-unit. So you can think about that too, but then you also don't want, hey, is there demand for that? There may not be demand for an entire group to come and have their own apartments, be able to come to the common space and hang out. You really have to and sometimes you just got to try it out and do it for a season, track your results and see if it's going to work for you. But I can absolutely tell you, we've been doing it for years. We also have members in our group who have tried this and have had great success in adding revenue they never would have seen to their slower season, because they're offering a more accessible size and more accessible cleaning and price point to travelers. You want to double down on your pricing education? Right after this video, go check out the video we did all about pricing mistakes that you do not want to make.
Before you put locks in your Amazon cart so you can start your parent-child listing, make sure to check out our video all about our favorite locks.
There's a common theme in this video. It's like, hey, we have a strategy for you, but you still have to do the work of knowing your numbers. If that's not your favorite part of running a short-term rental, don't worry. We have a worksheet just for you. Check it out in the show notes. It's all about knowing your numbers.
If this is the first time you've heard this concept, make sure to comment below, let us know. And if you want more strategies like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel.
And you've already started your educational journey with the parent-child listing strategy. Like Annette said, go check out that lock video because not all locks are created equal, and we've tried almost all of them. And then definitely check out our video all about pricing mistakes that you cannot afford to make. With that, I am Sarah Kane.
I'm Annette Grant, and together we are
Thanks for visiting.